so many conversations around people who are wanting to produce their own electricity and to sell it. There's a conversation underway at the moment around how to best produce enough power for the country. From time to time, you'll hear the phrase embedded generation. That's when a company, say a shopping mall, will produce their own electricity and sell some of it to someone else. But legally, how difficult is all of this to do? What kind of license do you need from the National Energy Regulator, NERSA? Candice Reynders is the Director for Commercial Law at Henny Attorneys. She joins us now. Candice, good afternoon to you. At the moment, what kind of license do you need to produce and to sell electricity?
So, Stephen, in South Africa, currently, NERSA requires either a generation license, if you want to generate your own electricity. There's also distribution licenses as well as transmission licenses. Distribution, obviously, to distribute electricity to consumers, and then transmission to move or convey electricity from one point to another. So it would all depend on what electricity you would like to generate, or if you want to distribute or transmit it.
Does it apply to everyone? I mean, some people produce solar power at their home, for example.
So the Minister has recently published in the Government Gazette certain exemptions from obtaining a license. There are 3 different categories. The one would be an outright exemption from either obtaining a license or getting a registration from NERSA. And then there's also exemption from licensing, but you also need to then register your facility with NERSA. That particularly pertains to facilities that are no more than 100 megawatts. And then finally, there are also certain exemptions of certain activities that would not need to be licensed, but you would have to obtain registration with NERSA.
We keep hearing about the one exemption in particular. This is the regulation or the exemption that allows a company to produce up to 100 megawatts. This is embedded generation, so hospitals are doing it, mines are doing it. How difficult is it to get the license? How difficult is it to get all of the paperwork if you're producing 99.9 megawatts of electricity?
Well, luckily, if you are producing 99.9, then you do not need to get that license. Anything over and above that, you would need to apply to NERSA. That would require giving NERSA particular information regarding your facility, your generation capacity, your tariffs, and then on top of that, you'll need to potentially advertise the facility, and if there are any objections, that would then be considered by NERSA before finally giving the license, either conditionally or not.
So we keep hearing, and we've heard from various people, that there's still quite a lot of paperwork to get your 99 megawatts. Is that still the case? There are other things they have to fill in before they do it?
Yes, in order to acquire your registration, then you are supposed to register all your information with NERSA in order for them to keep tabs on what it is that you are, the generation that you are going to facilitate.
How much paperwork is there to do that?
It is quite a bit of paperwork, but fortunately it's not going to be as tedious as a license application, at least.
We spoke to a solar company last week. They said they got the permission they needed. They were producing 2 solar power plants in around 70 days. Is that the sort of time frame that people would be looking at?
It could be, depending on the information that NERSA will require. Unfortunately, each application is different, and it is going to depend on what NERSA or the facility that you want to operate. And then NERSA will take that on a case-by-case basis to determine if all the information they have is at their disposal to make that determination.
So, I mean, the Minister obviously issues the exemptions, but does the Minister have any role to play in the individual applications?
He should not, no. That is only with regards to NERSA.
That was a lawyer's response. He should not. I thought that was very interesting. Thank you very much indeed. Candice Reynders is a Director for Commercial at Henny Attorneys. Do appreciate it. Shows you how the paperwork that we're dealing with at the moment. Well, I'm sure it won't be the last conversation you see around independent power producers and electricity.